Well, Kevin Ovenden, a journalist and an activist over the phone from London, is joining us at the moment. Mr. Ovenden, Greek politics has become increasingly fragmented, and some have been calling this vote as a political gamble. Do you think the country is heading towards snap elections?
I think that's the more likely outcome. As your package said, they have to achieve 200. That's 66%, two-thirds of the 300-member chamber to elect a president either today or next week. If they fail in those two, then it's down to 180, which will be right down to the wire on the 29th of December. And at the moment, later on today, we'll see what the first round tells us. There were a number of independents. The ruling coalition only has 153 MPs, which gives you some idea of the scale of the problem that they face.
And we've seen the rise of far-left and radical parties in Greece, as well as around 20 new parties as well. What do you think what do you think it would mean if we had these snap elections in Greece? Would it cause more chaos, or would it bring the change that people actually want in the country?
Well, it's difficult to see it bringing more chaos. Chaos has been the lived reality for people in Greece over the past 4 years, 5 years of the bailout and of the crisis. The talk of chaos, we should be very clear, is being ramped up by the authorities, the establishment within Greece and across the Eurozone and the EU. There is an orchestrated flight of capital being prepared should there be a snap election. Massive pressure is being put upon the Syriza opposition party to toe the line, to abandon any of its leftist policies and so on. And there's been a huge pressure indeed over the last 2 years, and it's succumbed to some of that pressure.
But some would argue that if there were these snap elections to take place, then that would inevitably cause political uncertainty, which would reduce confidence in the Greek economy, and in turn cause some sort of pressure on the Greek economy, which is trying to relieve itself at the moment.
What's happened to Greece is blackmail. The international banking houses, in the form of the European Union, the European Central Bank and the IMF, have put a gun to the heads of the Greek people to say that unless you accept what has amounted to the loss of 1 year's output in the last 4 years. So in the last 4 years, a year's output has gone directly into the banks. And it's the banks, of course, who are responsible primarily for the crisis in the first place. So I think it's the other way around. If there's an election and the Greek people vote for what they want and what they can choose freely, then we can start to see a resolution for the crisis in Greece. For so long as you give in to a blackmailer, the blackmailer will come back for more. And that's a lesson that the Greek people have learned the hard way over the last 5 years.
So are you saying that a change in government is actually the right remedy?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it's the right remedy. You have a government of failure, a government of austerity, a government of the most vicious racism directed against migrants, immigrants and the Muslim minority inside of Greece. This is the government which has to be removed. It is an unpopular government. Its only chance of holding on is for the array of capitalist forces, international forces and so on to say that they will shoot down the incoming government, that they will not allow there to be a Syriza government. And this is not an idle threat. Greece is a country which in 1967 had a coup in order to prevent the left and the democratic forces from advancing. We have to make sure that that doesn't happen in Greece this time. And I believe that the Greek people will not succumb to the blackmail in the course of the next month. And we will see. There's the European Union and the member states all say they're committed to democracy. We'll let them abide by the democratic outcome of the elections in Greece.
And if we look at the leftist Syriza party, they've been gaining popularity recently because of the criticism that they've been talking about in regards to the austerity measures imposed by the current government. Do you think these presidential elections and the possibility of a snap elections could actually work in their favour then?
Oh, certainly. The Syriza party is currently ahead in the opinion polls. The electorate in Greece over the course of the last 3 years have moved to the left, have moved to positions in opposition to austerity. And so if on the 29th of December they fail to get 180 MPs to vote for the coalition's nominee for president, there will be snap elections, and the likely outcome of those elections will be that Syriza will win.
Yes.
But in the course of the 3-week election campaign, you will see governments, banking houses, international corporations
Yes.
across Europe and around the world all intervene in Greece to try and prevent this democratic process from taking place.
Mr. Kevin Ovenden, a journalist and an activist, I'd like to thank you there. Thank you very much for joining us.